What's up? Hey guys, give me 1 second. I'll be like right back. I wasn't expecting to start just yet. Can you guys hear me? Hey, can you guys hear me? Am I crazy? Okay, I'm just gonna assume that you guys can hear me. Sweet. All right, I'll be right back. I saw that hit versus Majub. I'll talk about that when I get back, man. I'm sorry. What's up, guys? So I saw Hit versus Majub. Hit all the way, man. Like in terms of like what they showed from him in GT, totally, totally didn't work out in my opinion. Honestly, like he wasn't as strong as he really should be, so it just didn't work out in my opinion. So Hit is definitely stronger than him. But if you take probably what he would be like if you kind of use Dragon Ball Super logic, then Majub or even just Oob in general would just like wipe the floor with him. It wouldn't even be a fight. Oob is the strong, like has the most potential out of anyone in the entire series in my opinion, because look, if Frieza can kind of come out of nowhere and be like a super badass awesome fighter on par or even beyond Goku and Vegeta after all they've been through in under 4 months, then Oob, considering that he's a reincarnated Kid Buu who had way more potential, is like thousands of times stronger than like full powered Frieza. I only imagine how strong he could get in the future. So the fact that the series is basically kind of leading up to Goku being more of a strong fighter or like a teacher so much in the last couple episodes, you know, with the whole Dende saying that Oob exists and everything, you should train him. Oob has more potential than anyone else, and I really think that they're leading to that. When will Funimation release the Dragon Ball movie set? I mean, they did. I mean, they have. Like, what do you mean? Okay, we've talked about Gohan Black and Goten Black, but what about Pan Black? Pan Black is not something I imagine. Oh, that would have been cool, though. That would have been actually kind of cool if they focused a lot about Pan and her potential. I just think that whole arc would have been better if they had allowed it not to be the future Trunks that we all kind of knew and loved. I really think it really should have been the future of this timeline that we are working off of right now, and kind of a Terminator thing. You can't change everything and it just becomes this endless cycle loop where Trunks is basically going back. And even though it's not the last Trunks, it's other people. It's like other Trunks' characters going back in time and kind of dealing with the repercussions of all the stuff that the previous Trunks came back and did. I think that would have been cool. Geekdom did say that they did have the... You mean like the Dragon Box set type of thing, right? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they really should, considering, but at the same time, home market releases aren't really what they used to be, and the fact of the matter is I don't know. I mean, I guess they wouldn't really hurt them to do this, really, but it wouldn't really hurt them to do this in order to give us the DVDs, or even just convert those DVDs into Blu-rays and not change anything. I don't know exactly how much that would cost, but there's a legitimate reason why they aren't making DVDs anymore. It's just the home video releases aren't like profitable as much as they used to be, especially the DVD market. It's basically being usurped by 4K Blu-ray and Blu-ray, and obviously those are just dying mediums as well. Now, what they could do, and what I would do is, you know, it doesn't matter, like a DVD, Blu-ray, those are probably the best quality of the movies. You can probably put those in digital download and people would buy them. And they're probably, and like what I've heard is the Dragon box set movies are just clean. They are super clean. So that's what I would do. Let's see. I love how your Dragon Ball should have ended video. The focus, Pan and Brawl, maybe Piccolo had a kid and Yamcha got married, and maybe Marin. I mean, I do like the idea of the next generation in terms of people in general. I really like that idea because these people, like, I know Goku is the main character of Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball just in general, but man, there's so much potential in characters like Goten, Trunks, Pan, Brawl, Oob, Marin, and all these other people that I feel like you could really branch off this story into multiple different avenues. And with the idea that they want to kind of expand the franchise outside of just Dragon Ball, with the Dragon Ball room and stuff, and they're doing these spin-off mangas with like the guy basically dying and becoming Yamcha and knowing how the manga plays out. Like, it's a really cool idea. I like the what if scenarios, but I mean, with such a popular series, I really think that it would be a great avenue to take something that has a huge groundwork like this and give it to someone else besides Toriyama and make a story away from the main storyline, maybe even deep into the future, and basically have them, you know, tell a completely new individual story that might be even a little bit more mature. I think that would be really cool. Oh my gosh. Android 17 versus Zamasu, not immortal Zamasu. Look, I don't think Android 17 is that strong. I really think, you know, I've made a couple videos about it recently. I really think that they're just making them seem strong because Goku's using his Super Saiyan Blue form, he's not necessarily there on par. Goku's probably holding back a lot. The reason I think for that is, and a lot of people do have that opinion, is considering the fact they couldn't necessarily sense the power levels of Universe 9 characters, he might be trying to see how they react when they don't necessarily know how to sense power levels. The stupid thing about that is, I mean, unless they learned how to, which I'm sure they could, and, you know, if they've been training people like 18 and 17 in their environments, I'm sure that they figured out how to. But when they first were introduced, I'm pretty sure they didn't know how to sense power levels. I mean, that's why they couldn't find Goku and all those people immediately. I know they were having fun, but pretty sure they couldn't sense power levels. Isn't far people like me have to go through such health own Japanese cartoon properly? They flood the market in numerous home releases. I don't understand what you mean. Like, you mean like they release the same thing too much? I'm sorry. If you could elaborate. Oolong. Favorite Dragon Ball video game. I'm actually kind of partial to the original Xenoverse. I really like the original Xenoverse, but the best one really is Budokai 3. Budokai 3 is a masterpiece of Dragon Ball video game, like, just format. I understand, like, they want to go to this more open world fighting style, but it gets way too repetitive. Budokai 3 to me was intense. It was hard. I found myself playing that more than any other of the games because it was just fun and it required a whole lot of skill, where the Xenoverse games, while they require skill, I really just felt while I would play them, I just evolve into basically button mashing and just spamming super attacks because the AI, or, you know, the AI, the computers are so unbelievably cheap, and even in the parallel quest, it's ridiculous. What would you like to see? What would you like to see is Universe 6 and 2 help out Universe 7, so it isn't a complete massacre? Yeah, I've talked about that before. Why Universe 2? Oh, never mind. Look, I think that Universe 6. I really think that Universe 6 will help out and fight for Goku. One of the big parallels, or one of the things that they do in Dragon Ball, is how Goku basically interacts with these characters that he fights and how he wins their respect. And that was a big issue in the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. Was, Goku earned the respect of Hit, who, throughout that entire tournament just could give zero crap, zero fucks, I guess I'll curse. But he didn't care about any of this stuff. Favorite Tenkaichi Budokai? No, the third one, sure. Just to get back on my point. But I feel like, so they had this situation where, Hit basically became super friendly with Goku just because, they fought and they learned to respect each other. And then, of course, Hit came back and all that other stuff. So I think that they're going to fight for Universe 6. And I really think that, you could use to great emotional impact people like Cabba fighting for Vegeta, or Hit fighting for Goku, or, Botamo or Vegeta or any of these other people fighting for them, to kind of sway the crowd and realize that, look, Universe 7 isn't as terrible as they might seem. And in fact, there's probably a great deal of people, the Pride Troopers included, who are going to sense and figure out that they are... there's I guess they really enjoy the fight too. I mean, they're gonna see why Goku wanted to do this, and they're going to enjoy themselves more so than they hate him. And I really think that people like Cabba and Hit and Vegeta and Botamo and even Frost could help sway the entire audience. And and then Bergamo as well. So I think that they are really going to use that to help tell the story. Now, I've been wrong a whole lot before, but I feel like that's simple enough to completely make all this stuff we're seeing come completely full circle. Now, whether they're going to destroy the universes is a completely different question. But with that being said, I'll move on. All right. Timebreaker Bardock versus Goku Black. What if? Depends. I mean, there's so many different types of Timebreaker Bardocks, and Timebreaker Bardock is a huge he's just a huge mystery in terms of how strong he is, considering he's basically a Dragon Ball Heroes character and then also a Xenoverse character now, and also a Dragon Ball Online character. Obviously is where it started. So I feel like they could just retcon it to make it a completely fair fight. If you just take it as it is, it's when he was introduced, Goku Black would mop the floor with him. Do you think Cabba will go Super Saiyan 2 or 3, maybe even Super Saiyan Blue? I don't think he's going Super Saiyan 2 or 3, and I don't even think he's going Super Saiyan Blue. I know MJ wants him to go Super Saiyan Blue. I think we made a video about that on his channel a while ago, man. I don't think he's going Super Saiyan Blue. I think he's going to have mastered Super Saiyan at this point. It's not going to be emotional anymore. And considering the fact that Dragon Ball Super hasn't necessarily utilized Super Saiyan 2 or 3 to any real degree, and just Toriyama saying that he's kind of done with those forms anyway, I don't think he's going in that direction. But at the same time, I think Cabba will be a lot stronger than when we last saw him, and he might even be able to, I guess, completely fight these people and just actually be somewhat of a nemesis, or some people actually get to him. He'll steamroll a couple of the non-faces of the tournament, I'm sure. Yes, I do mean after his mask broke and he ascended to Super Saiyan 3. Hey everybody. First episode of Dragon Ball that you ever saw. Yeah, I do remember the first episode of Dragon Ball I ever saw. It was Dragon Ball Z, and it was the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. I think it was in 1997 when it really first started airing. I'm sure it wasn't the original time, but back then, And I swear this. I don't necessarily know, but like they used to air it on Toonami during like, you know, prime time after school hours, and I was never home for that because I always had to stay in those like after school special, like after school programs, really, because my parents just like worked their, you know, they just worked themselves to death, really. Not like they're not dead, but they worked themselves to death, like putting me and my siblings through school. And it was like really hard for us for a while there. And I remember like one night, it was like a Thursday, and I was, you know, I was like 7 years old at the time, maybe even 6, I can't remember. And I stayed up way too late than I really should have. Like almost everyone else was asleep, and I was just like sitting around, and I turned on the television and I turned to Cartoon Network because, you know, of course I did. And yeah, it was like the first episode of Dragon Ball Z, and I was like floored, dude. Like I had no idea what the hell was going on. All I knew that like this farmer was there, and like this guy with really long hair just freaking killed like a cartoon where someone just got like shot with a bullet, like literally catching a bullet and flicking it into the guy's face. And it's like, holy crap. Like I just saw that. And you know, for a 6-year-old, it's boom, mind blown and everything. And you're just wondering, what the hell is this? It's completely different than anything I've ever seen before. And I didn't know anything about that. And so eventually, like, you know, that was just like a random occurrence. And then maybe like a month or two later, it was a long time. It was a couple of weeks. I know it had to have been a couple of weeks because the very next episode I saw, we got home from school early that day. You know, some special event, and I turned on the television because I was the youngest of my family, and I was the brat, and I always took the television or something. But I turned on the youngest of the family, and the television, and Nappa was like, you know, I turned it to Cartoon Network, and Nappa was like armorless. So apparently, you know, like Chaozu had already died, and Ten Shinhan had died, and Yamcha had died, and all this other stuff. And so I'm just sitting there, and like Nappa's like beat, like, you know, bruised up and everything. Krillin and Piccolo are like beat to shit, and I'm just, what is this? Like, it was so cool. And then like that was the start of my love affair with Dragon Ball. It was like I just had to watch more, and it was so hard to, especially back then, it was so hard to watch them. But eventually, like, kind of things calmed down for my my personal life and my family life. So I was actually able to start coming home earlier, and you know, just kind of on my own, starting able to come home earlier, and I was able to kind of catch it, or at least parts of it, when I was younger. And then eventually I started getting more and more, and you know how they used to get to like a stopping point, and they used to go all the way back. So I eventually caught up and kept watching. So I thought that was pretty cool. Black Pride Woman, hi. Clarify that Oob will become next god of destruction. I mean, I've speculated. I think he possibly. I'm not really sure. Sorry guys if I'm going through this really slow. I want to get to as many questions as I can, but apparently it's kind of gotten away from me as I've been answering questions. I do think he might become the next god of destruction. I think that actually is a good plot purpose for it, but we'll see. Yeah, I hope they fight together. SSJ4 versus Super Vegito. What if? SSJ4. I think. Yeah, I think it's probably. I think they even said, and I might be wrong, but I think the Daizenshu even says that they are, like, he's equal to it. I could be wrong. I think it says like they're supposed to be equal to like that amount of strength, or maybe it was base or something. I don't know. But probably, you know, actually, Fusion is just such a mind breaker in terms of actual power. It's ridiculous. Depends on if it's perfect files met Super Vegito or Vegito's max. It's all good. I just meant that flood the market with various home releases, and besides, canceled level, limited Dragon Ball, blah blah blah. Yeah, they do flood the market, and they do flood the market with home releases and everything, and that's really what killed the Dragon boxes. If I'm being honest, I mean, before I even was really paying attention to it, I've talked to Danny myself, and he's reiterated that same point. I'm sure on videos as well, but he, like, to me personally, he told me the story about the Dragon boxes and how they just shot themselves in the foot by doing too many home releases and basically ruining the idea that we could have actually gotten, the best possible quality Dragon Ball releases that they've ever put out there, and continually so. So they canceled it, and now those things are like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, to the point where you're spending well over like $2,000 just to get the entire set. It's not okay. If Hit's pure progress basically equalizes power and he is the best fighter, doesn't that mean Hit can't surpass anybody? I mean, what's your point? I mean, if he can continually match anybody, then isn't he stronger than most everybody? And he was stronger than Goku. Like, Hit had that fight won. Hit always has that fight. Like, he can't be beaten. He's the strongest. Well, not necessarily anymore, but at the time of that fight, he was the strongest person out there. So yeah, like I'm sure that's something. Like Goku was gonna lose. Goku couldn't fight much longer. Oh geez, like there's so much of this. Speaking of Universe 6 arc, were you disappointed with the tournament wasn't interrupted by a bigger event? Because I really was. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that they actually let the tournament play out. I was really just disappointed with the fact that it just became Goku and Vegeta fighting. And, like, not so much, like, I was okay kind of with the fact that they kind of wrote Majin Buu off. Really a terrible idea in their part. And then they just screwed over Piccolo. That really got to me, honestly. I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. Perfect files, blah, blah, blah. Is Hit pure progress based? Okay, yeah, I got to that. Do you think Universe 10 can bring back Goku Black for Universe 20? No, he's gone. Gowasu probably even when he, like, obviously, like, Zamasu was literally blown out of existence. I wonder what, and I wonder if they're going to have any indication that the other god of destruction, of the elephant one, I can't remember his name now, I wonder if he hates that. I wonder what he thinks about that, whether he knows or anything. So, the only redeemable thing about the bricks and Blu-rays is they are cheap. At least the Blu-rays have HD audio better than Japanese audio quality. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Oh, you know what is a funny story? I was going to do a video about this, but I mean, this is just best place anyway. So, I kind of lost my interest in this stuff. Oh, MJ's here. MJ, do you want to join? If you want to join, message me on something, because I'm not even remotely down to the bottom of this. But anyway, so I wasn't necessarily into Dragon Ball forever. Like I finished it. It went to like 2003, so it was like 97 to 2003. And I was already starting to outgrow it. And I had like a handful of friends at the time who were really into Naruto and Bleach and One Piece and all this stuff that was kind of budding at the same time. But I was really just only into Dragon Ball. And I know a lot of people were basically in my boots, like the same shoes. And I really wanted to get in this situation where I was just going to finish the show because I had started it. It was already getting on my nerves. When I was younger, I really didn't like the Buu arc, although I really like it now. I feel like it's my favorite arc, really. And I didn't want to deal with it anymore. It was just dragged out, too much filler, yada, 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 just taking too long, always starting over, and never getting to the end point. So I just kind of gave up on it for years. And then I was in college. I was basically going into my senior year, and I just thought to myself, like, that's kind of cool. Like, I might want to like revisit it. And I realized that it was on Blu-ray, and I didn't want to like jump into buying the Blu-rays, because even if they were actually like super cheap at that time, they were still expensive. I didn't have a whole lot of money to spend, so I just played a game with myself. And this was fun because it took me literally, 4 months to find this. But I was driving, every time I was driving around or in a parking lot or something, I was like, okay, I'm going to take like a sign. I'm like, I don't really believe in this stuff or supernatural or, signs or anything like that. But like, I'm going to take it as a sign. I'm going to look at license plates. And if I see a license plate that says DBZ, then I'm going to buy the entire series on Blu-ray. I don't care. Like, if I see that, because what are the odds, the astronomical odds of that occurring? And like I said, I don't know, I just stayed with it for a couple months, and I finally, I even have a picture of that license plate, although I'm sure you're not really supposed to take a picture of license plates. I even have a picture of that because it was like such a huge, like, what the fuck moment when I finally found it. So after that, I actually bought them all on Blu-ray. Then I ended up buying the Blue Bricks, the Dragon Ball sets, and then I also bought GT. And I'm still hoping to buy, at some point I'll buy the movies. I don't have the movies on me, and at some point I'll buy Super once it gets a little cheaper, and also Kai once it kind of dies down and actually becomes a little bit cheaper, because those are still pretty expensive. But yeah, I do agree. Like, I do agree with that, and taking way too long to answer that question. That, yeah, like, I do agree. I like the audio quality for the most part, and I'm fine with the cutoff. I'm fine with the widescreen. It doesn't necessarily bother me as much as it bothers other people. What would he do if he were here? He'd probably say, I probably at some point he would be like, come on, bro. Okay, do you think that Bulma and Vegeta would beat Gohan, yes or no? No. I guess, like, what type of Vegeta? I don't understand that question. Anyway, what's up, Geek List? Yeah, what's up, Geek List? Rank the arcs of Dragon Ball of the Dragon Ball portion of the series. You mean just the original series? Yeah, sure. From worst to best, I think, personally, the Hunt for the Dragon Balls, the first peel-off arc and everything, is the worst. It's terrible. I have a hard time getting through it just because it's not what I grew up with, and it's not what I really enjoyed about the entire series. So that is definitely the lowest one to me. Then you have the 21st tournament, because while it's still really fun and everything, like, basically Dragon Ball is just like a perfect series, really. But you have that. To me, you have the next one, like the 21st tournament arc, and then Red Ribbon Army. So I know I'm going in order, basically. And then this is where I start getting a little bit out of order. I think that Piccolo Daimao, and then the 23rd arc, and then the 22nd arc is my favorite. Like the 22nd tournament arc with Ten Shinhan versus Goku, so epic. That's when the series really, like, the Red Ribbon Army arc was awesome, but the 22nd tournament is really where this story really started growing up and being way more serious and strategy focused and everything, and just so many people. And then the 23rd tournament was probably the better of the two, considering that, like, everybody who competed in that tournament was like a heavy hitter in the series. Like, that was awesome, where everyone who was fighting in one tournament was like, I guess, someone we knew, cared about, or hated, or anything like that. Like, there was no kind of people to nerf in that tournament. Obviously, people were going to lose, and you kind of knew how it was going to play out. But we had an emotional connection to everybody who was there. So that's the best. Like, that is the best tournament in the series, in my opinion. But I do like the 22nd tournament more. What's up? Roshi gets female Broly pregnant. Yeah, what if Roshi gets female Broly pregnant? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. It's not gonna happen, but I'm really hoping to see, like, that. I want Roshi to freak out, like, nosebleed about her, and, like, be, like, really attracted to her, and then her go muscular, and he'll be like, oh yeah, baby, and he'll go muscular too, and then they'll just start making out and then get her pregnant and everything. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Do you think that the Mofubo will play a big part in the Universal Survival Arc? Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. and it's going to take me a while to get to the bottom of this chat, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think that when they show Roshi, like they indicate like there's something about that shows that he might be using that. I do think it might play a part, but we'll just have to wait and see. MJ, do you want to, like, I'll ask again, do you want to be a part of this? Just text me or message me on Facebook. Do you ship the farmer and his shotgun? No, I really ship the farmer and his truck. I feel like him and his truck have a love affair that you can't possibly break. It's every time we see him, he has his truck. So, yeah, those two. It would be great, and it would be the cutest relationship since Krillin and 18, man and machine just uniting as one. It'd be great. So I'm 26. I don't know why that's important, but yeah. Arale versus Saitama. Saitama fans don't get triggered. We all know that Arale shit on him. JK. I agree. I think she would totally kick his ass because she's a gag character. I know he's a gag character, but she's like leaps and bounds above him as being a gag character. At the same time, I really don't feel like it when you compare two completely different people from two completely different universes. What really matters is which rules are they playing by, because they exist in two different universes, so they really can't figure it out, really. I really like Goten. I really like Goten as one of my favorite characters because I've said this a couple times. I really like him because he's not necessarily he's not necessarily supposed to be there. I really like I like his kind of carefree attitude. I like his idea of just being who he is and not necessarily being stuck up like someone like Trunks is, or as, I guess, timid as someone like Gohan is. He's more so a younger version of Goku, at least when he's a kid. And then when we see him in the future in the very end of Dragon Ball Z and also in GT, he basically becomes his own person, and he's someone that Gohan and Goku just really weren't. More so of a player, someone who's really confident in everything about himself, and not necessarily as timid as anyone else in his family. In fact, he really becomes his own character just in those moments. I feel a good enough character to kind of forget how much of a copy of Goku he actually was as a kid. Plus the whole concept of, like, he is, and same thing with Marin, which is why, considering Marin's only a couple years younger than him, I would imagine that, like, since they kind of already paired Trunks off with Mai, if at some point in the future, and we've seen kind of bits and pieces of them playing, it would be cool if they shipped Marin and Goten together, not only because it would be a way to kind of merge the families between, kind of merge Krillin and 18's family with Goku and Chi-Chi's family, but also the fact that those two characters in general are not really supposed to be in the story. They are byproducts of everything that happened with the Trunks arc. And I think that that's actually kind of cool. Like, he represents, or they're physical embodiments of everything that kind of Trunks fought for, really. And I think that there's some kind of beauty in that. So that's really why I like his character more so than other people. I mean, obviously I do like other characters, like Gohan's really awesome character. I like Piccolo and Vegeta because they're a little bit more dynamic and everything. Goku is one of those characters that you really can't like. I mean, yeah, you can like him, but he's never going to do anything that's going to make a difference, or he's not going to really grow up. In fact, that's why a lot of people don't like him in Super, because they feel like they're not using his character really wisely, but they are. Like, this is who he's always been, it's who he's always going to be. He's going to be a selfish asshole, and because of his protagonist role, and the fact that he's the main person in the series, he will always, I guess, he'll just be who he is, and he won't be anyone else. So that's really just what it's going to end up being. Do you think Vegeta will get his moment? Same for Gohan. I mean, Vegeta's already gotten so many moments in this series. I mean, what do you mean by that? Omega Shenron versus Cabba Super Saiyan. Omega Shenron, in my opinion. Augustus Abram. think the power gap is way different in Super than GT. I do think so. I mean, obviously, I think that's it is a huge power gap. I'm glad others understand how I feel. You mean about the home releases? I think that's. Would you like to see Dragon Ball and Saw crossover? Oh my god. That would be crazy. I feel like you couldn't get anything done because you really couldn't trap those people. No, I don't really want to see a crossover. Oh my god. Any favorite what if fusions? Mr. Bobo. I like Mr. Bobo. No, I don't have like a. Actually, my favorite what if fusion is Pan and Brawl. I think that's a really awesome. Like that's Ultimate Bay. Although it's like only like 13 years old, so maybe I really shouldn't say that. Any favorite what if fusion? What's going on? I'm just going to create my own home releases. Yeah, you kind of can. I mean, you really shouldn't. It's illegal, but you can get that stuff. I mean, online you can get anything. How you been today, bro? I'm good, man. I'm good. How about you? Own custom release. Sup? I meant it's my Bulma Vegeta could beat Gohan or Buhan. BOG. Oh, it's my Bulma Vegeta. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think he'd mop the floor at least for a moment, just because he took on Beerus. He took on Beerus and Boo couldn't do anything. Goku couldn't do anything. Yeah, like he would totally be able to at least hold him back for a moment. Oh, what's good, Mark? Yeah, what's good? Oh, funny story about that. So I tweeted this the other day. I felt like really stupid. I guess I wasn't necessarily paying attention. Just a funny story. So I went. So in between classes, I like to go get coffee at like a nearby Starbucks, and sometimes they ask for my name, sometimes they don't. I guess it depends on how busy they are. But the barista was sitting there going like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Mark," and she goes, "With a C or a K?" And I like very confidently looked her right in the eye and I'm like, "With an M?" And we both stared at each other for a minute, and it was really, really awkward. And I was like, "Oh wait, no, with a K." Dare this for Super Saiyan 2 Rage Vegeta. I don't think Vegeta will not get Rage. Probably Gohan, but not Vegeta. If you fuse dance with poor... Oh, MJ, totally. Like, MJ and I would totally fuse together and make... Actually, I guess if you ask him, he found a picture of a guy who looks like... He says it looks like a fusion between him and Mike, but I think it looks like a fusion between him and me. You'd have to ask him, though. I don't remember where that photo is or anything. So what is your favorite English cover of Super Saiyan opening... Or Super Opening 2? English cover. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think about that stuff. If you remember correctly, the world of Kai runs slower than the mortal realm. It means Goku has had many years additional training in Vegeta, and Vegeta has kept up, surpassing Goku. Thoughts? I do think Vegeta. I have this theory, and I know it's stupid considering the focus on everything thus far, but I really gravitated towards that line at the beginning of this new arc where Goku was gonna go train with Whis, and he was asking Vegeta to come with him, and he was like, "No, I don't want to come because Bulma's pregnant and she'll never forgive me." And he's like, "Well, I'll go get stronger than you." And he's like, "Yeah, in your dreams." And considering this arc kind of started with Goku not training and getting kind of out of shape, and that being like a major plot point, I know it's probably more of like a filler thing than actual story point, but I always had this idea that what if Vegeta just kind of got stronger than Goku? Like, is crazy. Is like, what if he is actually stronger than Goku at this point? Of course, no. As long as Goku has the Kaioken, no one will ever be able to fight him. It's just impossible. No, they aren't allowed to have weapons. They aren't. Man and machine unite. Oh yeah, bro. By the way, stream is behind chat. Oh yeah, like the stream is definitely behind the chat, but I mean, I'm trying to answer every single question, not just skip around. So yeah. So that's probably why. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry if there's a little. I'm not gonna. Considering there's stuff piling up, I'm not gonna go out of my way. If there's anything wrong with anything, tell me and I'll get to it eventually. Do you think Gohan will go Mystic in the tournament? Oh yeah, totally. Like I say a lot when my videos with MJ and other people, like I really don't think that we need to put a whole lot of stock in something like the opening credits, but yeah, I assume he's going Mystic, and I assume that he'll probably even find a new, like he'll do a Super Saiyan Rage thing if they're setting it up, and part of me feels like they're really setting it up for Gohan to be a really big part of this particular tournament, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Character, she's a child. Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. Like Arali would kick Saitama's ass because yeah, she's a quote unquote gag character, so yeah. Gogeta versus Buhan. No Stardust break. Gogeta, like, yeah, just not even a contest. Completely, like, totally utter destruction. Because even if a Potaro fusion is better than the dance, I feel like that's going to. It's still leaps and bounds above where Buhan would be. So they would totally destroy him. Baby Vegeta versus Super Android. Baby Vegeta versus Super Android 17. Super Android 17, just because the logic dictates that he was stronger at the time. Considering Goku could not beat him in Super Saiyan 4 easily, he needed help. So yeah, they Super Android 17 wins that pretty easily in my opinion. Do you think Cell had the ability to become God since he has the same DNA as most powerful Saiyan? Yes, I mean, it depends on how diluted it is, really. I mean, there's that part in Dragon Ball Super, or no, Dragon Ball Z, where a little bit where you see that Goku had the power to, or like he has that yellow aura around him, and everyone's like, oh, he's going Super Saiyan. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he has the ability to like go Super Saiyan or have that potential to have that type of multiplier just because he has Saiyan DNA. I mean, he's obviously his own self, but even the way they describe him makes it seem like he might be able to do it. So I'm not really sure. It'd be interesting, but I don't ever think we're going to be seeing Cell again. I don't think he's that important to the franchise anymore. You know, fortunately, he was an awesome villain. Pycon versus Piccolo ROF. Good question. I know a lot of people are going to say Piccolo. I feel like just logically it's Piccolo. He never stopped training. He just never does. Do you ever watch weekly tube show? They've been making remakes, some fantastic dubs. I don't watch it. I don't really watch it. Goten really needs Kid Gohan's haircut from the Saiyan saga. Why? I hate that haircut. I just hate it. It's like that mullet. I hate it. Gohan had the Gohan, and I guess by extension Yamcha, because of that online meme, they just had the worst haircuts ever. It's like it goes from like a mullet to a bowl cut to like to finally having like decent hair fighting in the Cell games, like fighting in the Room of Spirit and Time when Goku cuts his hair. It's finally his first good haircut. So. No, I don't really agree with that. Funny enough, though, this picture, you see the picture of Goten in this stream, that's at the end of Dragon Ball Z, obviously. Somebody pointed out, and it's absolutely true, Goten looks like Jinei. He looks like his grandmother, so I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but, I mean, I think that's really kind of cool and nice. It's like kind of a nice little wink to the series as a whole. You guys notice that Goku can use his Kaioken without having to recover like in Universe 7. Yeah, but MJ has said that, and he's pointed out that one of the reasons that might be is because he's probably not using Kaioken times 10, so he can control it better and it doesn't like wear his body out the same way. But who knows? They haven't necessarily stated that one way or the other. So I mean, he can use different multipliers. I mean, that's pure logic, like just from what we've seen, and he obviously used Kaioken times 10 in the fight with Hit. So what's up? Buhan manga version versus Frost. I'm gonna direct you to MJ. I think he did a video about that. So I don't know. I'm not a huge power scaler or fight versus fight. If you guys want that stuff, like MJ has a really awesome series where he kind of takes characters and does just kind of does like long form discussions about that and comparing and contrasting and then picking who he thinks would win in a fight. Pretty awesome stuff. Go check that out. Yeah, I feel like there's some point they could do a canon Gogeta. I really think, because they're not going to Potara fuse anymore. But at the same time, with the retcon they made to it where it only lasts for an hour, there's no reason not to. But considering they can't use weapons, since it's a technique in this tournament, then it's possible that it might show up. I think it's absolutely possible. Super's given us it's given us stranger things than having Goku and Vegeta fuse like that. Let's see. 5 inches of Halcyon on Fox Chicago. Okay. What are your fears on what Super could do to the female Super Saiyan? I actually do have a fear about that. It's a sensitive topic because they've made this female Super Saiyan a Broly kind of homage. So she basically roids out. Like, she's a little petite girl who roids out, and it's going to be like, whether they care or not. And this isn't necessarily, it's for kids, and they've kind of shown that they don't necessarily care about the sensitivities of like the outside audience, considering the fact that they're sitting there the entire Future Trunks arc going, that black guy, and it's like, it's a little racist. Maybe they don't care about this in terms of audience, and they don't think that people are going to think of it this way. For the most part, I really do think that the American audience really is, or even just the Western audience, is way more sensitive to this stuff than they are. So they might do this, and they might not have a problem with it, and that's totally okay in my opinion. But I think one of the things that might come off with the female Broly is the fact that you have a character who is this petite little woman who roids out, and I hope it doesn't feel like it's like, oh well, she's just PMSing, and like that's why she basically goes out of her way to become really super strong and angry because all women are like this and stuff. It's going to be a tight rope for them to walk. Really, it's not going to feel. If they handle it wrong, it's going to feel really iffy, and like, I don't really feel comfortable with this, and I don't necessarily know how to take it. So I really hope they don't fall into that, but it's quite possible. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. What do you think? What do you think would win in fight? Archer Comics Sonic versus Go. I have no idea, man. Can you get drugs online? Yes, you can. I wouldn't, but I guess you can. What do you think about Dragon Ball Online? I like Dragon Ball Online. I think in terms of sequels to Dragon Ball, or at least the original ending of Dragon Ball Z, I think it's the best one in terms of actually exploring the world and giving a nice ending and story to a lot of other characters, because I mean, there's so many cool things about it, like Miss Boo or Goten and Trunks' martial arts studio that teaches people how to fight with like weapons, like channel their ki through their weapons, like swords and stuff like that. And it's like that's how they fight. Like that's really cool. There's a lot of cool things that, I mean, Geekdom just made a video today. Go check that out, where talking about Goten and Trunks, or no, Goku and Vegeta basically dying in a supernova fight. Like, that's cool. That's really akin to their characters. Bolchi. I like that. Yeah, I feel like they should fuse. In fact, there's some really awesome fan art. Already own Dragon Ball boxes and some of the Blu-rays, so I can rule the world. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could sell those for a lot of money too. Who do you think would win in a fight? I don't know, man. I'm really sorry, I don't know. What if MJ and Danny fuse? Oh wait, did you like Goten's redesign at the end of ZGT? Do you think that he should have kept Goku's hair? No, I like him having his own hair and being his own person. I like his GT haircut more, but it's super 90s. Like, everything about Dragon Ball hair is like super 90s. It's crazy. I guess not even an anime could really, not even anime and manga can get rid of those popular haircuts. Anyway, MJ and Danny should fuse. I think you're right. Who do you think would win in a fight? Okay, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. If you do the time skip after the end of this arc, how far do you think they should jump? Just me, but I think they should jump to the tournament where Z ended, and they should have like an episode or two where we see those last couple episodes through the eyes of everyone else, and not necessarily and retcon things, but not through Goku and Oob's perspective. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. So you have to retcon, like, oh, I haven't seen you in 5 years, all that stuff. But like, just retell that story, or maybe even just like redo it entirely. So this is, it's not completely different, but this is the new canon and all that other stuff, and then completely go from there. I mean, like, have Goku be the teacher. That's the one thing I realized. Like, that's just the one thing. I know a lot of people are saying they're probably going to do a time skip after this arc, and it seems like they might be setting up for that, but it's going to be a huge dynamic shift to have Goku be the teacher instead of the student, and something they haven't really done for a long time. Even when he was training Gohan, it wasn't the same thing. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Goten Super Saiyan versus full powered Frieza. I think Frieza, only that Goten hasn't had the adult experience. Yeah, I think Frieza would beat him too. Depends on what Goten you're talking about. Kaioken times a billion equals death. Yes, it does. It's a big delay. I'm sure it is a really big delay, considering not only is there just always a delay, but I'm also going really slowly through these questions. I mean, if you guys want me to start skipping around, I'll start skipping around. I just want to be respectful to who's asking what. I guess cake. I'm not sure. Favorite dessert. Vegito SSJ3 versus Super Saiyan Goku Super. I don't know, man. Super Saiyan Goku and Super. Like, he is unbelievably strong, but also Vegito Super Saiyan 3. I don't know. You know how Goku and Vegeta Trunks can can that be done just as blue? I'm sure the buff form can be done, because it's just like increasing your muscle mass. It's not necessarily a new transformation, although it kind of is, but I don't know. Cell has Frieza, could survive in space with less body and blah blah blah. All other techniques, he would be most one thing. Yeah, he would be the most OP thing if he could become a god. Cell is an awesome villain. What would your 10 be for? What would you mean my team? I don't think Goku chose wrongly. The only one I would change, I don't think, like, I understand in the retcons they've made with how much stronger 18 and 17 have become, makes me okay with the fact that they're picking them over Goten and Trunks. The only thing they have over them is the only thing they have over them is the fusion. But I feel like one of the things that they're missing out on is Frieza. And I know they're already going to have Frost be there, so he's going to basically be the Frieza character, but I really think that they should have Frieza wished back. I would just love to see, like, can you imagine? I was just thinking about this. Would you imagine that, like, they have that promotional art and you have like 17 there and 18 Krillin and all them, like, and instead of Roshi, you just, like, in Roshi's place, you just have Frieza walking with them, maybe with like handcuffs on, like looking like really pissed off, and you're like, the fuck is going on here? Like, I think that would have been really cool. Cell has free. Okay. You think would win in a fight? I'm sorry, man. I don't know that. Hyreal, how are you doing? Did you see Buliko Experiment? If so, thoughts? I did see that movie, and I hated it. I really like those. Like, I'm a really easy lay when it comes to that concept. I like the one location kind of breaking people down into their most, like, basic human, like, survival instinct, killing other people just so they can survive concepts. Love it. That movie moved too quickly. It was too fast. It was kind of too confusing. And they went from literally like, kill 3 people or we'll kill 6 to kill 30 or we'll kill 60. And it's like, slow your roll. It should have been like, we'll kill 1 or we'll kill 2. Kill 2 or we'll kill 4. Kill 8. It was like kill 4, we'll kill 8. You know, build to it. Don't necessarily jump the gun and have everyone versus each other in the first 30 minutes of the movie or something like that. Plus the fact that, like, that we followed too many people. Like, basic logic of films is like you have like one person, okay, like one person's going to survive. I get it. So who is it going to be? And then you look at the roster and you're like, oh, of course it's going to be that person. Like, obviously he's the main character. And then why are we following all these other people just to have them die in really anticlimactic ways? I don't like it. Anyway, I'll just move on. How do the female Dragon Ball tubers feel about? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. Do you think SSJ10 Limit Breaker Goku will look like Goku base form or God hair form? I feel like if it is that, I mean, I don't really know. Like, I know a lot of people have been saying that. I feel like, yeah, it'll just be in him in his base form. Would it be better if Pan was voiced by English dub? I don't follow that stuff, man. I'm sorry. I don't really know a lot about English dub voice actors or something like that. It's not my department in terms of fandom. People who would know and would have like a very strong opinion on that stuff, obviously Danny, Nathan over at the Frozen Particle would know, would probably engage you with that conversation. Yeah. Well, dude, it's not like it's literally Broly, but he is a girl, female. Yeah. So yeah, it's true. It's not really that. Sterling Archer versus Mai. Archer. Guy got shot too many times. Touch me. Okay. And in the opening, there's the girl with spike hair and the bandana, and I think she looks a lot like a new female Saiyan picture we got. It is the same. It is the same girl. Don't you think Zamasu is one of the villains so far? I mean, besides that whole fusion mess, he planned it all out pretty well. Although I wanted Black to wish for immortality too. Yeah, I do think that, like, that's really a good idea. Like, he is the smartest villain, or one of the smartest villains so far. I mean, he actually got basically what he wanted. The only downfall was that he decided to, like, screw with Trunks too much instead of just ending it. And I mean, if he had ended it, he probably could have won. Like, if he didn't, like, just play around with Trunks this whole time, he could have won. And I really liked I really liked I really liked the fact that they fused. I thought that was really cool. But one of the things I really wanted them to do, I know that their fusion worked out perfectly, but the biggest thing, at least character-wise, that they didn't have in common, they were the same person, But I really wanted the fact that, Zamasu, even though they had like the same brain and personality and all this other stuff, Zamasu having gone into Goku's body and becoming black, he seemed a lot more arrogant than the other Zamasu, who had immortality and is like, well, I'm not going to get immortal because I need like the Zenkai boost is what really helps him kind of increase his body. So he needs that, and if he's immortal, he can't get any Zenkai boosts. Of course, like the Zenkai didn't make any sense in that arc. But I really thought like them fusing, the one thing that really should have been played out more and been an issue was the fact that like in order to fuse, you need like the right mindset in order to go. And I would be really cool if they were both like really dominating personalities. And the fact that them fusing, one immortal and one not mortal, that would have been the kicker for them, and they wouldn't necessarily have gotten along that way, and it would have been their downfall that way instead of the way they played it. So yeah. Do you think Super will continue past into Z? Yeah, I do. I don't think that they can keep it in this too long. What would Quaman do if he were here? I don't know. Help me discuss. What do you think generally? What would you do to generally change GT going by saga? If I'd ask you in a bit depth. Yeah, that's a big question. In fact, if you really want that hot shock, if you really want that question answered, like how would I change GT or how GT could have been better, just go into my videos. I did a video about this a while ago about how I feel like Dragon Ball GT could have been like really awesome. It was more of a podcast type of thing, and we talked about it for a really long time. So just go try to find that. Do you believe that there is an evil Omni King? MJ and I did a theory about that. It was pretty awesome in terms of Zamasu might be in the future Omni King Zeno. You can go to his channel and find that video. We talked in depth about that theory. If Boo copied the Kaioken, would he surpass Buhan or even Vegito? Maybe. I mean, like, that's a good point, because he's not really a human. Like, he doesn't have like a body that can deteriorate. He just regenerates. So if he could master that, he would probably be a real big force to be reckoned with. So good point. I think that's actually a really good point. Favorite fusion in Dragon Ball Z fusions? Mine is Gogeta. Like Brawl and Pan, that was a good fusion, and then the Goku and Broly one was pretty good too. These tournament fights should be amazing. I agree. End of Z Pan, and Z Goten. LOL. Yeah, she wrecked him. Based on how long the Slice of Life episodes are. Oh yeah, no, totally. But they're just basically, I feel like the Slice of Life episodes are basically killing time for the manga to catch up, because they've already said. I'm pretty sure they already said that like the manga is going to kick off the tournament in terms of like it's going to surpass the anime. So these videos, these like new episodes that we're getting, although it's part of the arc initially and it has all to do with the story, the manga is going to skip it, and they're just setting up the stage. So, how popular is Saiyan going to be, since the Saiyan is female can go Super Saiyan and look like Broly transformed? Maybe. I'm not necessarily sure. I feel like she would be really, really popular, considering if they handle the character right. I mean, when they finally announced her, or showed her, I mean the community went batshit crazy, and I remember that day because I hadn't watched the episode yet, and I'm not subbed to a whole lot of people, but I know like Danny made a video really quickly on it, but I think for Neverworld actually beat him to it. He was just kind of looping that scene over and over and over again, and he was talking about it, and I was mad about that. It's like he didn't find like a photo of it. And so I was just sitting there, like I was literally watching that and I was trying to like pause it just to kind of get a better view of it. And then Danny did like a much better kind of in-depth video about it like a day later, so that one was really good. But yeah, like the community blew up about that particular thing, so yeah. Damn, great answer. Great answer to what? Let's see. Would you like a DBS movie in the next few years? Any cool ideas? I would love a DBS movie. I would absolutely love. Okay. Yeah, I do have a couple ideas. I think one of the big problems that we've seen with Dragon Ball Super is the fact that it introduces a lot of concepts that it doesn't necessarily flesh out very well. So MJ and I have talked about this. This is one of our first bonding moments as being collaborators and friends. And I think him and I had the exact same idea. And I'm not going to go too much into it, but like we literally separately came up with the exact same story, almost for Hit. And one thing I would say about it is I would like to see a Hit spin-off, like, or not spin-off, but like an OVS or not OVS, an animated movie. Same thing, like a special with history of Trunks and the father of Goku. That would be really cool to me too. I think that's what they really should do, is if they're going to do these things, they could do spin-offs of other characters that kind of, I guess, map out this stuff or how people kind of interacted. Wouldn't you like to see, like, instead of focusing away from these stories or being something that could potentially not necessarily connect like the original Dragon Ball Z movies and the Dragon Ball movies, having something that did connect to the main story but just helped to kind of express more of the ideas that were being introduced instead of brushing off a lot of this stuff. So the idea for Hit thing was basically how Hit became Hit and why he is the way he is, and doing our best to explain like why he acted the way he did in the tournament. That's what I would like to see. Oh man, that's sorry, Hot Shock. That's a long question. Worst and best thing of each villain. That's too long of a question. Actually, I'm not gonna. I guess. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna. That would take way too long to answer, and also just having to think about it. What's your thoughts on Dokkan Battle? I played Dokkan Battle a lot. It's not for me. Well, I've really outgrown gaming. I really want to I thought about wanting to bring gaming to my channel. The only one I'd really like to bring, because it's the thing I would just have to play through, honestly, for myself, finally. Back when, I guess, Let's Plays were starting to get really popular, they came out with the Sol video games, and that's how I experienced those video games. I literally sat there and paused and watched and read and all this other stuff as people played through the games, and that's how I could, because I didn't have any consoles or a good enough computer at the time to play the game myself, and it's just something I really wanted to do. So that was something I really liked to do. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I would really like to play the Sol games as a Let's Play. I've done a couple of Dokkan videos and Brave Souls videos. It's just not my style. It's not my speed. I've outgrown video gaming for the most part. Do you believe Android 17 got stronger because he has a lot of potential, or maybe because he has 10 years plus to train? He has his body base power to fuse Piccolo. Yeah, I think he's just been training. I don't think he has like a ton of potential. I honestly don't think that the androids should have potential, considering that their power was given to them and they weren't necessarily born with it. So I just think it's them working hard and training. I mean, just like everyone else, there's no real reason, considering the logic of the series, why they can't train like Ten Shinhan and Krillin and just get stronger. So I think that's what's going on. I don't think they have a huge amount of potential. Why didn't they make 20 more slice of life episodes? The manga could have caught up if that happens. Yeah, I agree, but I mean, you can only, I mean, these are essentially filler episodes in a main arc that is telling one complete story, so that's better than telling, like, just off-the-wall stories or something like that. Now, if you have all of them, like Mary Hitmas, that would have been cool, because that was actually a really cool little mini arc. If you keep doing that, but not all of them were really good. A lot of people don't like that stuff, so I understand. It's just personal preference, really. Oh, D-Free. How am I supposed to know you're here? You could text me. Jesus. How do I do that again? I can't remember. All right, sorry guys, I'm actually trying to add D-Free right now, so I'll be back.
What's good, bitches?
No, I need to add the output.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And I was gonna text you. It just didn't happen.
All right. Can you hear him, guys? Can you tell me if you hear him?
Oh yeah. I gotta say something for them to hear me. So.
Guys, can you hear D-Free right now?
Bleh.
I mean, like, yeah, D-Free, but can you hear it? Yes, we can hear him. All right, cool. They can hear you.
Woo!
Woo! What's up, man?
What's up? I'm currently on a walk, so I was like, "Hey, add me, cuck."
This guy.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing here? We're just answering questions.
We're just answering questions. I'm just, I don't know. Like, I'm working off of like 2 hours of sleep, so I just moved my video for today upwards. So you guys are gonna be getting that around 2 p.m. And it's a really fun video with MJ and I. It's discussing the merits of the Battle Royale formula. But I just moved my video. I was like, hell, I'll do I don't ever do live streams, so I'm gonna do one. So, what's up, man? How have you been?
Oh man, I've been chilling, trying to take it easy, or not succeeding at taking it easy. You?
I'm in the same boat, man. Like, I'm gonna hang out after this. Like, after this, I'm gonna go hang out for a little bit, and I have to go start studying again. Like,
Yeah, Mr. 2 hours of sleep.
That's not even studying's fault. Like, I made like 5 or 6 videos yesterday, and I got like 6 or 7 hours worth of studying in. I need a good like 8 hours of studying today. I need to really pick it up.
Yeah, I made 5 videos yesterday, and time flew. Mm-hmm. I realized like super late. It was like 11 p.m. when I was done. That's pretty bad. I was like, oh well, there goes my day.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know. You don't even expect, man. You're just like, oh what happened?
I sat down at like 5, man. And I was like, oh shit, it's 11. It's 10:45. Oh man.
So MJ says, but for some reason 17 does have great potential, but whatever. Look, 17 shouldn't have potential, man. He just can't. Like, he was given, like, his power was given to him. He wasn't born like a prodigy like everyone else. I mean, he can train. He can train like everyone else. He can train like Krillin and Tenshinhan and Roshi and all that stuff. But like, he doesn't have potential.
I mean, the problem with that is he's a human at nature, right? He's a modified human. So with the humans, as far as like all the other ones that we've seen and given context to, how strong do you think he could feasibly get on top of the android modifications? It still doesn't make sense, even if he does have potential, because there seems to be a cap on how strong those guys can get innately anyway. I guess Krillin's kind of breaking the mold, though, so we'll see what happens with Roshi and Tenshinhan. But I mean, even if it was potential, it doesn't make much sense either way. And also training-wise, either way, it doesn't make much sense. It can't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just my mindset because he's still a human.
No, yeah, no, like that's it. Like
He
that's,
doesn't get Zenkais and stuff. Zenkais is like the most significant increases that we see in the series, and that's the only reasons why the Saiyans are significantly stronger, is because of the Zenkais that they get consistently. Because the natural Saiyans pre-Super Saiyan weren't crazy strong like they are today, or in this portion of the series. It's weird. That doesn't make much sense.
I agree.
Well, you have to keep them all relevant, as far as the storytelling goes. So I get it in that perspective.
Yeah, I totally get it in that perspective. It's just I don't like it, honestly. Like that's the thing I don't like. It's just it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in a way that makes sense, but it's fine. Oh,
yeah.
Justin Baker, dude. I saw your message. It's been a while, but I actually did make that video you requested, so it's probably going to be up tomorrow, I think. So look out for that. I actually went way more in depth with it than I thought I was, and if you're a Saul fan, you might like it. I don't know. I know D3 right here isn't a Saul fan, so whatever.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'm not for all the blood and gore, bro. It's not for me.
MJ says if him and Danny fuse, they would destroy the universe.
Bro, I just saw that too. I was like, what the hell? But they'd be one really big guy, bro. It's cool. I still love both of them. I'm just being honest. And then I don't know, they'd have that really big Mexican beard that MJ has. Then they have cataracts. GG.
That's great. Oh my god. Yeah, we love you guys. We love you. Heart to you guys, but that's funny as fuck. Oh my gosh. Okay. Roshi v. Videl in the aftermath. I think the Roshi v. Videl would end with Roshi just taking Videl to bed and going to town. What do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense. Although, if he was seriously asking the question, I feel like Roshi could have beat her in Z, and he definitely will be able to beat her in Super.
Roshi could have beaten Roshi's strong, guys. She would not have serious question. She wouldn't have a chance. It would be.
Yeah, even after learning how to fly and somewhat use ki, I feel like Roshi would still beat her ass. It's weird.
Yeah. No.
And then, of course, with what Super's going to do, inevitably, they're going to make Roshi a little stronger than he should be. So be on the lookout for that. But regardless, he'd definitely be able to kick her ass in Super, given that she doesn't do anything now. Mm-hmm. And he's clearly training. So
I always look, there was a question beforehand. Maybe you can add your 2 cents. Do you think that Roshi is going to basically use the Mafuba in this tournament?
Aside from maybe knocking out a horde of little grunt type characters, what else could he really offer? And also in the regards to the Mafuba comment, I think Dino made the video on it, and he was talking about he was throwing him off the ring and stuff. That'd be a cool idea, but I don't see him sealing anybody in particular. I also don't know if it would work on people that are significantly stronger than him in particular either for very long.
Is it a weapon though?
Well, the jar would probably be. You gotta have somewhere to throw them. So, I don't know.
Could you use it to throw them off the side? You pick them up.
Yeah, you pick them up and you aim them into something. So, it's feasible to say you can throw them off the ring. You just gotta aim them somewhere.
That would be kind of cool. Hey man, let's keep it. If we're gonna do marry, fuck, kill, let's keep it to fictional characters and not real people, man. I appreciate it. So I feel like so obviously I feel like MJ's pointed this out a lot, but he has that hypnotizing technique from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he does.
And so he could hypnotize them and then Mafuba them off the side of the ring. I mean, I just don't know the
That's
technique.
feasible.
I don't know the technique. Like I know you have to aim them, but you essentially pick them up and put them somewhere. He could put them on the, put them off the ring.
I mean, well, if you want to take any context to it, Goku, when he was trying to practice on Turtle, threw Turtle off the damn island.
That's true.
So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. But, like, another thing, too, is... I'm trying to wait for these cars to pass. Another thing, too, is that... the one thing I worry about with Roshi is combat speed. I mean, I know that he can get stronger, but, like, how will he fare as far as the speed goes of the fights, of the characters that he'd be fighting against? They're going to have to, like, have some sort of really weird formation type of thing to really account for his weaknesses, unless they just give him a full-blown ass big old buff, to his power level. So I don't really understand as far as he's concerned. I do understand the nature of why he's there, strategic and stuff, but there's a limitation to it. It just doesn't make very much sense.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And I mean, it's just something we have to live with as being fans. We have to live with them doing weird stuff and making this story the way they want to and not necessarily the way we want them to, and all this other stuff. I'm going to jump into this question. It says, do you think they're going to go in depth with the exploration of other universes in Dragon Ball Super, or are they going to visit them at all? What do you think? I
don't think so at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily know how to answer that question, considering, like I just said, they don't make this show the way I want them to make this show. But, I mean, for the most part, I feel like they really should.
God damn, she's sexy. Oh, my bad. I'm listening. I swear. I'm sorry.
Guys, this is how like most of my conversations with D3 go. He calls me when he's walking around. There's all this car noise in the background, and then it's like I'm just talking. I'm like carrying on a conversation. And it's just like, damn, she's sexy. It's like, God damn it, dude, you didn't even listen to me.
I was, man. I'm sorry. God. I gotta get it out somehow. My girl got me on, like, she's everywhere I'm at, so I can't make it public anymore.
So you say it on YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. Even then, she sometimes listens to my videos, so I gotta be careful.
So yeah, like I just answering that question, like they can explore these things, these other universes, but I really don't think they're really gonna do that. So. Let's see. Fuck, marry, kill. Normal Vegeta, baby Vegeta, and copy Vegeta. Alright, let's see. D3, if you're still there, I can't hear you. I don't think anyone else can.
I'm here.
Okay.
I just tried to mute out the car noise when I'm not talking.
It's all good. I don't really care about it. I think anyone else cares about it, but we got fuck, marry, kill, normal Vegeta, baby Vegeta, and copy Vegeta. You want to jump in on that?
None of them, because Vegeta isn't my flavor. But if I had no choice, I'm gonna marry normal Vegeta because he's the normal one.
He's also a family man. Like you want the family man. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck copy Vegeta because he's the hoe that'll never tell, and then I'm gonna do the other thing to the other one. I forgot what the other one was.
You're gonna kill.
Or kill. I'm gonna kill the other one.
I'm actually in complete 100% agreement. So we'll move on. Why won't Super use Flip and Goten? Is Goten's the only thing he can do? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the only thing he's really good for. And they pretty much established that in the end of in Z was, everyone had the cool thing about the end of Z was everyone had their own unique transformation. Like, at least all the Saiyans did. So Goten and Trunks had fusion. Gohan had his mystic form. Goku had Super Saiyan 3, and Vegeta had Super Vegeta. So, everyone was unique. So, yeah, that's really all he can do.
My one issue with the way Super has handled Goten is, generally Goten and Trunks are a package deal, because a lot of the same things apply to both of them. We know that they have a future and stuff, but they're just basically the same character in that they don't have a character. Obviously, Kid Trunks has always been overshadowed by Future Trunks, and that happened again in Dragon Ball Super. But, the one thing that was cool about that is that they actually did grab Future Trunks and Kid Trunks and allowed Kid Trunks to kind of be there during all those events. But my problem with that is that they did give Goten the same treatment. Mm-hmm. It was probably because, they did it to Gohan too, so it may have had something to do with Masako Nozawa, having to voice all those characters all the time. But he didn't have to have a line. He could have just been present. Instead they chose to leave him like asleep or whatever, or mm-hmm. studying, whatever he was doing.
He was studying.
So little things like that just completely derail the Goten character, but they don't have to do that. No, that was my one real gripe, because Kid Trunks did get some development in that arc. He had to interact with his older self, tell him, hey, get your shit together, essentially. And that was pretty cool from him, but Goten just has never done anything at all, ever. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
It's like they have this character that they made up, but decided they didn't need him anymore, so he's just kind of there.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. Like, it was actually really obnoxious to me, considering the fact that you're absolutely right. Like, they are a package deal. Plus, I know the whole, like, they utilize the only real story arc that you can show with Goten being around was the same thing they played up with Gohan and Pan. We're like, oh my god,
yeah.
Like, I'm the reason for all of this. Like, I'm the reason for this stuff. So Goten didn't have a whole lot to do, but they sidelined him, yeah, probably because of voice actor reasons and all that stuff, but they really just sidelined him because Goten was or Mai was going to be used. Like, if Mai wasn't there, Goten would be there. Like,
even that, that's what they did. They replaced Goten with the whole Pilaf gang. That's what they did. Because all the scenes where Goten would be in with Trunks, it was the Pilaf gang instead. Yeah. And, of course, Mai was there because, obviously, future Mai, which in and of itself doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. Because that whole scenario with future Mai and Trunks just makes absolutely zero sense, how they came to be. But regardless, they tried to, have the parallel where they're like, hey, younger version and older version. I get that, but, like, he didn't have to say anything. He could have just been present. He comes in at the end, similar to Gohan. Gohan has a built-in excuse because he's a family guy. He's there taking care of his daughter. Fine. Mm-hmm. Chi-Chi has Goten studying, mm-hmm. but she's supposed to be a little bit more lenient with Goten, so it's kind of weird. But it doesn't truly matter either way. That doesn't work for him. Mm-hmm. It barely works for Gohan.
and I'll say this: maybe it's them like realizing that they don't have a reason for Goten to be there, and yeah, maybe Nozawa doesn't want to voice him because she's already voicing all this other crap. But she's she's getting up there, so I understand. Like, I understand that gripe, and I'm sympathetic to it. Like, she works hard for her age. So,
well, that makes sense for that arc. She's voicing Goku Black and Goku every single episode.
Yeah.
That's why neither of them were in the episode, Gohan or Goten, basically. That's the only reason I can understand.
Yeah, no, so...
but at least, even with Gohan, they gave him an homage. They were like, hey, we'll be back later, basically. Trunks goes to go see him.
Yeah.
Trunks meets Goten at the end of the arc and doesn't even acknowledge him.
Oh, small Goku?
It's like you're that other kid.
He's like, oh, small Goku? Yeah, I have absolutely no questions about this.
That was one of the things I really wanted to see too, but no.
I know, me too. But the thing I really, okay, like I said, Mai and Pan and the Pilaf gang, all those people basically took Goten's place, like any kind of reference and point that he could have. But my biggest gripe here, honestly, is, you and I have had this conversation a lot when it comes to Gohan's character and Chi-Chi's impact on Gohan's character, and this misconception that the entire community has about Chi-Chi fucking with Gohan throughout the entire series and not allowing him to basically be the person he wanted to be. He couldn't be a fighter because of her, which is completely lie. Like, all of it's a lie. Well, like, she's the one, she's the reason, blah, blah, blah. So, personally, like, the thing about that is, I've always kind of in the same right been like a Chi-Chi supporter because I don't think she's a terrible person. I think her character is actually kind of really true to what it always has been. And I don't ever think, especially in the Dragon Ball Z days, that she held Gohan back in any way, shape, or form. Like, he chose to do everything.
She didn't. Yeah. Every time he wanted to do something, he did it.
He didn't do it, or he did do it, depending on whatever he wanted to do. And the thing about that really kind of got me mad about that arc is maybe they were just accepting it. Maybe they found, like we've been saying, maybe Nozawa didn't want to actually participate in voicing those characters because she was already doing so much other work. And they know, like, okay, we need a reason for Goten not to be in this arc. Well, Chi-Chi's a smother mother. Let's just have him be studying this whole time. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So they did that. That's fine. But this was like literally the only thing, like story-wise, the only time when Chi-Chi actively stopped some character from actually being in a situation where he actually probably should have been.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you have, because he was like, I'm going to go too. Because it's like, Bulma's like, at the beginning of that arc, Bulma's like, get the fuck over here. Like, this is crazy. And like, everyone's like, and Goku's like, okay. And like, Piccolo even, like, everyone's like, okay. And Goten's like, yeah. And she's like, no, fucking study. And he's like, God damn it. Okay. Whatever. And then like, he just disappears the whole arc. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, how is this like... This is the worst that Chi-Chi's ever been in terms of holding another character back, and it was purely for story reasons. And to make matters worse about all of this is the fact that the Pilaf gang was studying. Like, they were in school.
With Trunks.
Like, why isn't Goten there? Like, your friend is the richest person in the world who has a private tutor, probably one of the best in the world. And these two kids are best friends, and apparently, like, obviously we're led to believe that Chi-Chi and Bulma are friends too, at least family friends, and they don't fucking invite Goten to like, if she wants Goten to have a good education, no one invites Goten to be in this group with them, but they invite the Pilaf gang. I call bullshit. I mean,
there's a conspiracy there, man. They don't lend them any money either, so it's like, they secretly hate the Sun family. But no, I agree, man. The thing is, like I said, that excuse for studying never really even worked for Gohan as a character. It barely worked for him. But you are right when you say, this is the first time she ever truly had an impact on that, because I can't think of a time in Dragon Ball Z, at least, where Gohan wasn't present for a fight. He was always there from the beginning to the end, where he obviously, had a bigger part in Cell, and then around Ultimate Gohan, he's always been there. Mm-hmm. She always was a naggy mother, of course, but that's really true to what a mother would be. You wouldn't want your kid to be out there, so I understand that real world aspect, but like, she never truly held Gohan out of anything. And there was even that time where she was like, hey, this needs to happen so he can go ahead and do it. But when it's done, he has to come back and study, which is fine. The man studies for 7 years. Yeah. So, like, it didn't really matter. It's just really weird how they handled that, the whole Goten thing. I don't know. But there was a few reasons logistically as to why they did it. Like I said, it's speculation, the Nozawa thing. But it does make sense when they wanted to capitalize on Mai and Goten. Or, excuse me, Mai and Trunks. So, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I completely agree. But moving on with that.
Yeah, Mark loves Goten, so you can't ask Goten questions.
Marry, fuck, kill, Videl, Bulma, Deborah. Dodoria.
I'm killing Deborah, or Dodoria. Okay, he's dead. I'm going to marry Bulma because she's rich and I'm a gold digger now. And I'm going to fuck Videl's lights out. How about that? Every night, because she's got to be athletic and she's gonna get it.
I think you could only fuck her once. I think that's the thing. I would.
Nah, I'm gonna do it every night.
I would kill Deborah or Dodoria, whatever. I would marry Videl because Videl is younger. Videl is less experienced, probably. you take your time, you take your time. And
you gotta have that brilliant MILF head, though.
Yeah, and then, like, hashtag.
Because you could fuck both of them, though. That's the thing. You could fuck your wife, bro.
I know. That's a weird question. Of course we're not gonna. No one's gonna...
not fuck their wife. Goddamn. Celibacy in a marriage? What is this?
Oh, my gosh. Let's see.
Fuck monogamy.
I understood how Gotenks was able to turn SS3.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, he's not 100% Saiyan. He's only 50% because the two 50%, they just kind of stay the same. He would turn more Saiyan if a half Saiyan fused with a full Saiyan, but he stays 50%. But they never said at any point in time that you needed to be a full-blooded Saiyan to go Super Saiyan 3. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. It's just a power level. You get to a certain stage, you can do it. That's all there really is to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually have another theory about that in terms of why I mean, it is weird. Like they basically just skip Super Saiyan 2. Like how is that possible? I really think that
No, I'm gonna say that in the transformation, I think this is filler though. In the Hyperbolic Time Tripper, they go Super Saiyan 1, then 2, then 3. If you watch it, they go 2 briefly. They get the lightning and all that, but they never officially state it as 2. But it's in between where they don't have lightning, and they get the lightning, then they go 3. So I think that's filler, but it is a thing.
Okay, well, I understand that, but I have this theory about...
I have this thing.
Shut up. That's how I do, man. I had this theory that Trunks and Goten, or just Saiyans in general, they do not... they got the Zenkai boosts, but there's also this thing, like, honestly, there's this weird kind of trend with those characters in that race is they don't have to be beaten to a pulp and almost die in order to reach new heights. It seems really much like a lot like they have to actually feel a new level of power. Like, they can sense the energy. If they feel that level of power, they can actually achieve it. Yeah, achieve it. So when you have Goku show them Super Saiyan 3 like point blank, I think that is supposed to be like how they were able to understand how to achieve it.
I agree with that because I think I've said that before in a video with somebody, maybe even with MJ. I don't know if MJ's still here, but I think I mentioned that in the video we did once. That I just feel like, if you just witness this level of power, you can achieve it. Because that was a really big theme. If you think back to the Cell Saga, right? They didn't know there was a level beyond Super Saiyan. So they both went in there, all of them, went in there trying to strive for a level past Super Saiyan. They didn't know how many levels were past Super Saiyan, and they didn't know until, of course, Goku kind of witnessed, which I believe is filler again, Gohan starting to transform Super Saiyan 2. They didn't really know that there was a level of that power. But once Gohan achieves that level of power, next arc, everybody has it, right? And even Trunks, who left then, comes back in Dragon Ball Super with Super Saiyan 2.
With no idea about Super Saiyan 3. Like, absolutely no idea.
Exactly. And no idea of Super Saiyan 3. And, I just feel like it's feasible to say that once they see it, they have a goal, they can actually achieve it. Mm-hmm. I just feel like they underestimate, I guess, the level of power they can get to, because even then, Trunks was like, when he went to Super Saiyan Blue for the first time, he was like, what is this? What's this pressure? And then later on in the arc, ass pull or not, he achieves a level of power similar to that.
And we saw at the same time, Cabba being like, when he witnessed Super Saiyan Blue.
Cabba too.
Cabba witnessed Super Saiyan Blue. We don't know if he can go Super Saiyan Blue. I guess it wouldn't be too surprising if he is, especially, and it would give a lot of deference to this theory, really, because he would be like, I guess he would sit there and be like, well, I didn't know how to sense it. Even if he couldn't sense it, Vegeta intentionally punched him in the gut and told him, don't forget this power.
Yeah.
So
he said you can reach it if you train hard enough.
Yeah, so don't forget this. And even if he couldn't sense it, if he felt it like that, and he felt that stuff, that's part of, they never say that that's part of it, but I've always kind of taken that that's part of the Saiyan biology too. It's like if you sense something beyond, and even more examples of that, like when Goku and Vegeta went into the Room of Spirit and Time, he was like, we'll go train in there, and Vegeta's like, you think we can get stronger? You serious? And now look at where they are. They're leaps and bounds over where they were, and considering they didn't realize just how strong people like Hit were, and then Vegeta basically going back in there to train and coming back and just wiping the fucking floor with black. I really feel like they have to feel it in order, and it's not necessarily Zenkai's anymore, but it's branching off of that, really.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that way for a long time. There's a lot of evidence to lend credence to that thought process. So
I do not think Piccolo has a penis, but I guess that's another thing. What if Goten and Trunks train with Gotenks and achieve Super Saiyan Rage? I think they wouldn't be able to use it because it would drain the time too quickly.
I don't even know if that's a form they can get. I feel like that's a form only Trunks will have. It's weird.
But do you think Gohan. Someone asked this. Someone also asked this. Do you think Gohan is gonna get it?
That's what I was going to get into next. I just feel like Super and Dragon Ball as a whole, it's kind of weird because they said they wouldn't really be using anything beyond Super Saiyan 1, but Goku seems to show off all the forms in every arc now. So that's a thing. But on top of that, I feel like they reached this happy medium where they've given every character their own thing, aside from Goku and Vegeta, who always have the same damn things. And of course, Goku still has another thing, and potentially another thing up his sleeve beyond Kaioken that we don't know about, which, if you look at the intro and outro, it seems like that may have something to do with the base form, because he has like this milky type aura in his base form, but that's another thing. But I don't know. I feel like Gohan specifically will probably just retain either the Super Saiyan forms, which he's been using it a lot lately, or use Ultimate again. I don't expect him to get Blue or Rage. I mean, right, logically speaking, any form any Saiyan can achieve should be achievable by the other Saiyans. That's logically speaking, because it was never stated at any point you needed to have X amount of Saiyan blood or biology to be able to reach a certain transformation. But I just don't think they'll give it to anybody else besides Trunks, because that form, was able to get him to basically a god level, and it had like some sort of godly type aura, which never really got elaborated on. I don't really think that that's anything else. I just feel like it was born pure out of rage, which was always Gohan's gimmick, but it's not like no other Saiyan can rage into a power boost. So I just don't think anybody else will get it at all, to be honest.
I think
maybe Gohan will get his own new form. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. What would be really cool though? Like his own version or look of Super Saiyan Rage, because Super Saiyan Rage was like the god aura with like the Super Saiyan transformation. Considering Goku has Gohan has the Mystic form, where he doesn't.
I was going to say that
he doesn't need to bring up. He doesn't need to bring out the Super Saiyan transformation, the golden hair. So have him like no irises with like the Super Saiyan God aura, but just black
and
hair.
Black hair.
That would be
that's
epic.
what I was thinking. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, fusing the Mystic form with the God form. That's weird, man. People. Yeah, it looks like Rage because it's like that looks like it's a fusion of Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue, and people kind of look at it as some sort of incomplete transformation. But it's like, I think that'd be pretty cool for Gohan specifically if you're gonna actually give him his own thing, and want to give him something that could be on the level of the other characters, because I feel like they have interest in getting Gohan to that level. It's just they haven't executed it very well. If you look at all of the evidence in the show, they're consistently Gohan's training, and then they drop little nuggets of information like with the Goma, hey, this guy is as strong as I am at my peak, which could be interpreted a couple of different ways. I feel like they have interest in getting him there. It's just they haven't had a chance yet. So we'll see what happens with that.
I think they're part of it. Might be wrong. I don't know how much deference what we've been seeing right now is going to play into the main story, because it looks really obvious like the mangas are going to skip over it.
Yeah, the manga's going to skip over all of this, and I think that's part of the reason why they're doing all this recruitment stuff, is to kind of give the manga a chance, but of course they want to pad it out, so the manga's going to skip all this and just jump straight to the fights.
So, but like the biggest, most interesting thing we've seen from it is Goku basically, I mean, in the earlier
episodes, ass whipped by everybody.
Well, yeah, but in the earlier episodes, just talking up Gohan the entire time, like, oh, Gohan, and it really made me and a lot of other people think like, oh man, like Gohan's gonna come back, like, really, like, is he gonna be like?
But then Piccolo comes in and says, "I'm gonna train your untrained body again." Like, bro, how many times are you gonna tell this guy that his body's untrained in this arc, in this show?
I love that scene so much, because I was like, bitch, that's like what he said. He's like, I'm gonna train your untrained body. It's like, oh my god, me. Like, bro, it's like it seems like Piccolo found his Namiko. Like,
oh god, Gohan just became Piccolo's bitch. But no, in all honesty though, bro, every time Gohan has a mention of training at all in the show, they always say that he's out of shape. But it's like he's supposed to be training and supposed to have been training since like the tournament arc. So I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing at all. It's actually really
oh
awesome.
god.
But
yeah, Piccolo acted like he hasn't trained at all. Maybe he's just like maintaining some level of power. I don't know. He said, I'm gonna train your untrained body, bro. Like, but I thought you've been training for like the better part of a year, man. Goku said he's been training all year. What have you been doing? Oh God, your untrained body. He makes him sound like a little bitch.
I know, it's crazy. I love Piccolo. He's such an awesome character.
Oh God.
Wait, why is it that 2 seconds after Goten saw Chi-Chi get turned into an egg and crushed, he pretended it never happened? Because I wanted Gotenks to be 100% powerful. I mean, that's not a fair argument. I mean, obviously, like, Goten was really fucking pissed off about that. He was super focused. Like, when they went into the Room of Spirit and Time, he was, like, Trunks, like, everyone who goes into that first time is always, like, besides, like, literally, that we saw in the anime, besides, basically, Vegeta and Goten, everyone else walks into that room like, the fuck is this? Like, this is overwhelming. But, like, Goten, like, literally, like, walked out there and was like, fuck this, I'm gonna train my ass off. Like, that guy's gonna fucking die. And the next time we see him, he's like happy-go-lucky. But you gotta realize, like, days have passed. Like, you can't stay like mad. Like, you can't stay mad like at a certain degree of anger 100% of the time. So,
well, Vegeta sure seems like he can.
Well, Goten is a lot more carefree than Vegeta.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, he should be pissed off at Super Buu, but the one thing I didn't like about that is even if he can't retain like the madness or the anger, I mean, they were joking around with Buu, like they didn't care anymore. But that kind of took away from the tension.
But you have to imagine that they like it did, but it was more of a comic relief character anyway. Plus, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you merge two different personalities, and I mean, there's
two kids at that.
Yeah, so obviously, even if like one side was mad, it was a cocky character, and we knew it was a cocky character going into it. So I don't think like even if you're like, well, Chi-Chi died, he should have matured the fuck up. But it's like, well, we knew that Gotenks was like a funny character before any of this happened.
It's weird because Gohan was like so beyond his time. If you look at him at that same age, he was way more mature than those two ever were. I mean, even at 4 and 5 years old, I mean, he was scared in the beginning, but at 5 years old, this man's going to another planet.
Uh-huh.
You know, like it's a really weird contrast if you look at all these kid characters.
Mm-hmm. You cut out. I can't hear you. Deefer's gone. I see. Like, you turned on your video. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on until he comes back. If he comes back. Let's see. Boy, hi Deepry. Let's see. Gohan getting a character-specific transformation would be literally awesome. And the way you both describe it made it sound really awesome. The potential unleashed with a bit of blue aura. I agree. Like, that would be cool. Like, I would fangirl out about that. You back?
I'm back.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I was in heavy traffic.
You were saying?
I forgot. Oh, yeah. Well, I was saying, as far as, like, they go, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like had that been Gohan, he wouldn't have ever really lost that, even if he fused or not. I mean, and didn't
no.
Correct me if I'm mistaken.
No, like,
correct me if I'm mistaken though. I don't know if Bulma died then too. Did she?
Well,
no. She didn't die at that moment.
She died. Well, she died.
Yeah, she did.
No, she died when Buu left the hyperbolic time chamber, the Room of Spirit and Time.
That's when Chi-Chi died though. He turned He turned
Chi-Chi to an egg when he was waiting, when she went up and slapped him.
Yeah. That's
so, like,
right.
That's why Trunks was like, that's why Goten was like, fuck this guy. Like, when they went in.
Yeah.
So
that's right. I'm getting it mixed up. I'm thinking all this is post-time chamber when they got out.
Yeah, so that's why. And look, I completely disagree. Like, I don't think Gohan was like way more mature, but if he had killed Chi-Chi, and after everything Buu had done, he would have treated it the same way that he treated Cell. Like, he would want to make him suffer. So he would be winning the fight, sure,
he wouldn't be messing around. He'd go full strength, but he would kind of allow Buu enough time to figure out what to do because he would make him suffer. Like that's the whole thing with Cell. Like Goku is there the whole time going like, just fucking end it, and he's like, no, like he deserves to suffer.
Was that Gohan or was that the rage overcoming him though?
That's the point. Like, I mean, wouldn't that the point? Like that's what the point would be. Like, if he was mad about Chi-Chi dying.
But Rage and Super Saiyan 2 Rage are a couple different things because Gohan raged into boosts often. And he just wanted to kill whoever he was fighting at that time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a weird contrast. I mean, like when he did it against Frieza, when he killed... fucking hell, I gotta watch that again. He killed... No, I don't want to say that because I'm going to sound stupid. But anyways, when he did it against Frieza, you know, he raged into it like, what, 2 times? Twice?
I think one of those is filler.
Okay.
He was able to. I'm pretty sure he was able to like take out Frieza in his second form, or at least before.
Yeah, second form.
Let's see. Moving on. Honestly, I really hope that Tien and Piccolo do like a multi-form tri-beam special beam cannon combo. That would be sick as hell. That'd be really cool. Like, I really want them to use the multi-form because I feel like that's a really awesome technique if it's going to be strategy based. Especially since like they could use it in a cool way. The way that Piccolo used it against Frost was really cool. Plus, like during the fight with the Saiyans, they made it seem like it was such a. They made it be like, oh, this is, it's like a kid's technique. Like anyone could do this, a kid's technique, but if it's a kid's technique to be used in a like cool way during this fight, I would embrace it, considering the point is to get more people off the map or like the ring. So confusing everyone and just making that many more contestants by making you like multi-form would be pretty cool.
I agree.
All right, nice car sound in the background. Yeah, we do. We bring on best
we're
qualities.
out here rooming, you know?
Yeah. Should Yamcha beat Master Roshi? Yes. Goten has... You don't think so?
My answer is no.
Why?
Because they didn't bother to recruit him for the Tournament of Power, but Yamcha thought he was going to be recruited. Did you see that episode?
That was so funny.
They're like, oh my god, yeah, they're going to want me for this. And I'm like, bro, no. Stop.
I hope they really go explore that some more. I hope they don't just leave it at that joke.
No, they only brought Yamcha in to make him a meme. If you look at it, every time he comes into the show, he says something stupid. Like, whenever it was the Battle of Gods arc, he was like, don't worry, I'll watch them. I'll protect them. Like, shut up.
No, he's like, I'm kind of the strongest person here, talking to Beerus. Yeah, he's like, oh my god. So
he knows he's a meme, man. Yamcha's still fucking funny, man. He came in, he was like, yeah, they're going to want to recruit me for this. All right, I'm going to go home and act like I didn't know. He leaves.
Oh, you know, that'd be great. Like, that'd be great. After all this is said and done and they've saved all the universes or their universe, like, they should like cut to Yamcha just still waiting to be called on. Like...
they go after Roshi before Yamcha, so I think that says that's indicative of the power difference there, or at least the sheer lack of respect for Yamcha's character. They just don't think he could handle it.
Well, he's not.
It was funny because there was a time where he was, you know, at least pretty close to being equivalent to Tenshinhan, but like, there's not even a contest there. And Krillin, all those guys are kind of in the same realm. Of course, Ten was a little bit stronger back in that tournament in Dragon Ball, or a lot stronger because he had that potential. He had the ability to use those moves and stuff, but like it didn't matter back then. And if I recall correctly, he kind of used Yamcha as his punching bag anyway.
He did. He totally did.
That one I've actually seen recently. I haven't seen early Dragon Ball Z in a long time.
This is an interesting question, easy to answer. How did Frieza get God Ki, or was he just too powerful? Or
fucking hell, she is so damn sexy. God damn.
We're gonna let D3 live in his own world, guys.
God damn, that ass is bad. Alright, I'm back.
Every time, man, every time. Yeah, Frieza didn't have God Ki, like not at all.
Yeah, not at all. He just was on that level. I mean, once again, you can kind of look at Rage a couple different ways. lot of people say it's like this hybrid god or whatever, but like at the same time, it was never stated. So I'm going to go ahead and say that he doesn't have God Ki either, but he's on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? But Frieza, I say no.
Yeah, no. Goten. There's a small little debate breaking out in the chat about Goten having more potential than Gohan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stems from him going Super Saiyan so early, but I also feel, as far as that conversation goes, that when Gohan was a kid, Super Saiyan wasn't a thing anyway. If you swap their roles, put Gohan as a kid, or Goten as a kid previously, he probably wouldn't have achieved Super Saiyan so early either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about that gene theory thing, but like, I just feel like a lot of that's just a product of the story.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
I just feel like whether it's a male or female going on, Bra and Pan, I just feel like they're all Saiyans. They all have a lot of latent potential. It's just really what it comes down to. And Trunks, Gohan has always been the one that was stated to have a crazy amount of potential. And even to this day in Super, they still play him up for having a lot of potential. But I mean, Trunks steps in, future Trunks, and shows that he has a lot of potential too. He achieved that level of power. That can't be, bypassed. So I just feel like they all have this crazy amount of potential to where it doesn't really matter to debate it.
Yeah, I agree. And like a lot of this is just headcanon, really. It's just we have to take it like on its face of what's actually plausible and what's actually just story convenience and plot convenience. So that's really what it is.
Yep.
Goten, in my opinion, can at max get around Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan, Cell Saga. He'd be strong, but not worth shit in current Dragon Ball. I disagree. He could get as strong as the plot needs him to be.
He can. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was gonna say. Once again, it's the same scenario, depending on the story and what's a necessity. Then I feel like, if you swap him with Gohan, once again, because Gohan is the main character that you talk about with potential. And you say, well, Goten is the big brother. He's the one that's getting the Elder Kai unlock. I feel like he could feasibly get just as strong as Ultimate Gohan was. Once again, it just depends on what the plot needs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, look at it like one can't achieve this same level that another one can. They're both half breeds. It doesn't make much sense. I mean, not every human, for example, has the same potential, because potential is the capacity to learn something. I don't feel like everybody has the same potential. Everybody is talented in different things, but this is an anime, so it's not really the same concept. I mean, if these Earthlings like 17 can inexplicably get that strong, it doesn't make a lot of sense to say that a Saiyan can't.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I feel like he can get. I feel like if he grows up, I feel like they all can get to like God tier if they train with Whis.
Mm-hmm. And that's really the thing, isn't it? It's like that's how that really needs to play out. Is how whatever story they want to tell. So at this point, like Goten can't come anywhere close to even competing with Gohan, but it's really so because the story doesn't demand it. Yep. And then at the same time, a really good kind of segue into this. Someone said, let's see what it said. Illuminati King Trunks said, I hate Golden Frieza. They should have introduced Cooler, who was training when his family died, and unlocked the golden form. I disagree because of the fact that Goten or Frieza coming back, while it didn't make a whole lot of sense, he did have the vengeance aspect.
Motivation.
Motivation to get that. The golden form is really just like his way of insulting the Super Saiyan form anyway. And personally, like I've said this before in videos, and I've said this like in streams and stuff. Like, I really think that the only thing Frieza does is, if there's one thing that part of the story really goes to show in the entire series of Dragon Ball, is it gives a lot of credit to Oob. A lot of credit to Oob's character at the end of Super, or at the end of Z, considering Super's timeline and how Super works, because Oob would potentially have like way more potential than Frieza, and considering how strong Frieza got so quickly, then it makes sense at the end of Z, given all the stuff that's happened in Super, that Goku's really excited to fight Oob. Like,
no, I'm gonna throw you another curveball. As making sense as strong as Fat Boo has seemingly gotten in Super. Freaking Oob can be a monster.
Oob is a monster. Like Oob has the most potential of anyone in the series. I mean,
yeah.
Given the knowledge, like given the facts that they've introduced, like there's no way like Oob would steamroll everyone in the series if Goku even trained him for a couple months at this point. Like,
yeah, well, Oob would get incredibly strong. You know, seeing the level of power that these characters are at, that's a character that's touted for having potential being a reincarnation of Boo. And then we see characters like, once again, 17, who are unimaginably strong, and they were never, played up that same way. So it makes sense to say that Oob can, with training, probably become the strongest character in the series. That's just not even a stretch.
Let's see. Do you think that Trunks learned how to use the Spirit Bomb from reading that book? That book was I understand, but that book was, that's not real. like
that book that was in the special cut.
Yeah, that's not real.
Like, movie.
I don't imagine that's real. Did someone make a video? I always thought that would be a cool video to do, like just discussing who wrote that book.
Yeah, was that? I'm trying to remember. Was that the Resurrection F movies TV cut?
It was the TV cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that little book. That book don't make. It's not real. Cut it out. I did like that Goku versus Frieza reanimation though.
Yeah, that was lit, but
yeah.
That book's not real.
Yeah, you can't take that book seriously. I just feel like Trunks. The one thing that I've always had a problem with is people saying Trunks learned the Spirit Bomb. If you watch that scene, he had no idea what the hell was going on. He didn't feasibly. I mean, he didn't intentionally do that. It just kind of formed behind him, and he used it.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then they sent their energy up there. It just happened subconsciously. Yeah. So I don't think he even knows how to do that. If you asked him to do it again, he probably couldn't do it again. I mean, it wasn't like him using the Masenko, right? Which he blatantly knows how to use because he did it. The Galakan,
yeah.
the Mafuba. Even the guy watched the YouTube video, bro. the final flash. Stop it, Trunks, with all these attacks.
Xenoverse character, create your own character, customized, man. Like that.
Bro, he has all those attacks on his build in Xenoverse, too. It's lit. He has Big Bang Attack. He has a whole Vegeta build.
Oh, my gosh.
They just gave him Vegeta's moves. But yeah, the thing with the Spirit Bomb is, if you asked him to do it again, he probably couldn't do it again. And I've never liked that concept that he learned how to do it. That's the one thing out of all those moves that he did that he just seemed like he wasn't comfortable with. It just happened.
I actually did a video about this. Son Hoku, funny name. I actually did a video about that. I'll be dropping later this week about Goku's Super Saiyan transformation and Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 transformation and impact and why we might think Gohan's transformation's better. But I mean, I won't go into it here. Goku literally said a couple of episodes ago, "I am equal to Vegeta in power." Yeah, I guess. I never really.
Sure.
I don't really care. It's stupid, because that's not true. But
even if they are equal, Vegeta's not equal to Blue Kaioken.
Yeah, that.
Because that's a multiplier of what Vegeta will be equal to. It's just literally not true.
Yeah, it's not true. Plus, just taking logic.
There's no evidence to suggest it either.
Logic and just story-wise, I mean, when Goku showed up on Namek, he was pumping out the Kaioken like hotcakes, man. He was just completely all over that shit. So when Ginyu was like, "How strong are you really?" He broke out the Kaioken, and it multiplied his power. So it was 90,000. He upped it to 180,000. He stole his body.
Yeah.
That's always been under Goku's belt. So Vegeta cannot surpass it. Now the cool thing about that, and I believe he said this during the initial fight with Goku, was it wasn't the Kaioken is not a unique technique, and he had seen people use things similar. So maybe Vegeta could figure out, I think that would be kind of cool, have Vegeta figure out his own version of it. At least to kind of, equalize their power a little bit, so they're not, Vegeta just doesn't constantly get left behind.
I mean, look, it's outlandish, right, to look at the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, because what happens is, in the Champa tournament arc, Obviously, Vegeta's out there, and he's used as a guy to put over Hit's character. That's fine. That's Vegeta's role most of the time. But when Goku steps in and he does that, you see Vegeta smirk like, this motherfucker got another move and I didn't know. You know, it was a blatant F you to him. And then every time after that, what they did was they just kept giving him Zenkai boosts in the next arc, in the Black arc. But then towards the end of it, when you think that he would have at least caught up to Goku because he, put the beat down on Black, towards the end of it, him and Trunks go ahead and do the Gallic Gun, and the Goku, they couldn't even hold it back, but Goku holds it back on his own, and then goes Kaioken, and he breaks free from Zamasu and like breaks that barrier thing behind him. It's like this guy's on a whole other level when he uses that Kaioken transformation. It's like not even close. And I don't know how you can make Vegeta catch up to that. Maybe you just give him another form and let Goku keep using that form. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like maybe,
but like
they're finally gonna master their God Ki. Like I don't know.
I just like that. Like it's so weird. I agree. Like I think it would be cool if Vegeta got another form instead of Goku, but it's just, to me, given the trajectory of these characters, I don't necessarily think that Goku would be okay with that shit. Like,
no, he'd want it to.
Yeah, he would find a way to do it because like the motherfucker created Super Saiyan 3 out of fucking nowhere. Like. It's not a form. Like, he even said, it's not a form. He just manipulated his own body to bring out more power than than he thought possible. Like,
that shit never really got stable. He just made it up.
Yeah. Goku's a fucking asshole. Like, the guy's way too strong. So, yeah, like, so Vegeta's always going to get left in the dust because of that, really.
Yeah. Somebody said it's funny how it doesn't exist in the manga. I mean, I agree. I feel like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken was just something that was used to put Hit over. As far as, Hit's character. They really protected Hit's character a lot in that arc. Which I kind of see them doing in the upcoming arc if he does participate.
I mean, he is definitely going to participate. He's in the intro and everything. They've shown him. Like, he's going to participate. I agree. I feel like they're going to figure out a way to nerf him without having him lose on purpose.
Yeah, they're just going to find a way to protect him.
Because Hit, I don't care who they've introduced. I mean, Jiren might be the next Hit, maybe. But no one that they've introduced in this whole series looks as cool as Hit and has as much grab bag of techniques as Hit does. I mean, but when they reintroduced him in the show, you're like, how strong is this guy? Like, how many weird things...
How strong is he now?
Well, like,
because this is all post-Goku Black. This Goku's got Zenkais. How strong is it, actually?
Yeah, like he just... He's that character. MJ likes to say this all the time, but he's right. Like, Hit's that character that just completely keeps... Like, he's like Roshi or something like that, where... Like, Dragon Ball Roshi, where... You think you got him beat, and the guy, like, pops out just another technique that he's been hiding this whole time. And it's like, the fuck? Did we ever beat this guy? Like, so, like, that's the thing. It's like, when you fight Hit, it's not a real fair match because the story protects him. But it's fine because I think Hit's, like, an awesome character. I'd really like to see him explored more.
Yeah. I think they're going to use him, though, to put Jiren over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
I think they'll do that.
God. I know that,
but they'll still protect him some way.
Yeah, I think that's the most logical situation. But Jiren's gonna be a monster. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Oh, he's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be a character that looks like he could have soloed Goku Black at any time.
Yeah. Well, fucking Hit was that character. Remember that. Like you and I started that. Like you and I and MJ, we did that video a long time ago. I was like. We were on Skype and I was like, I'm tired of people saying that, like, Black would solo Hit. Like, that's stupid. Let's do this video.
He wouldn't.
And then like right after we did that video, like everyone started doing that fucking video.
Yeah. Goku Black wouldn't probably not even beat Hit.
No, yeah. Goku Black would, like, Hit would destroy Goku Black. Like, it wouldn't be a contest. It would be like one hit and you're fucking done. Like, never see it coming.
Exactly, and then Jiren's going to be a guy that pops in, like I said, and just has to look like a character that's infinitely stronger than Goku Black to even be a remote threat anyway, because that's just story progression. And I feel like Hit, at any point in time, had he come along, could have taken out Goku Black with relative ease, to be honest. It would have been a struggle, but he probably would have taken him out on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for manga iteration of Hit, because they play him down a lot in the manga, so I'm interested to see how they'll handle him in the tournament, because in that previous tournament, they really played him down.
Well, you know what I think?
It made it seem like all he could do was time skip.
You know what I think?
What?
You know, a lot of people have been speculating that Jiren's not gonna or Hit's not gonna be able to use his time skip ability because this place is devoid of time and all this other stuff. I think that's not true. And I think the way they'll protect Hit's character while also like making Jiren look like a badass is through GodTube. And through GodTube, so like because the Pride Troopers seem like real chill with the Gods of Destruction in Universe 11, like, or just the gods in general, because Topo is the Kaioshin's bodyguard type of thing, and and so they'll go to GodTube, they'll watch the fight, like the previous fight, like Zamasu was doing, or maybe they've already watched it, and he can get into the fight real quick, and he'll instantly nerf or like completely take out Hit, and everyone's like, oh shit, and then like he'll be like, and then later on the fight, or like almost immediately, he's like, he was my biggest worry because of that situation, so I figured out how to beat it immediately. Like he watched the tape and figured out like a strategy to beat it immediately. So
yeah, I never really thought that was, I never really lend any credence to that, because if you look at Hit's ability, he creates his own space. I don't really know if that space being devoid of time really means anything in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're just going to take away his most potent ability because of the locale.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have Jiren come in, and he's like, I was really worried. It's like, I'm not worried about Goku, because I've seen Goku fight, like, multiple times. Topo's fought him. And even Topo was like, if you can't beat me, or if you have trouble beating me, like, Jiren's going to mop the floor with you. So, like, it's really, to me, it would be the most likely to make sense that Jiren is most likely, he's worried about Hit more than Goku. So he takes Hit out first, and in order to do that, he learned Hit's ability and a way to combat it, so he takes him out immediately. Because like
cool.
Because that still protects his character, because not only is Jiren probably like a really awesome character, like a really strong character in his own right, but he would acknowledge that, like, yeah, that guy would have given me a run for my money, like, so like I had to outsmart him. I couldn't beat him in a one-on-one match.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. It's like I said, there's nothing to suggest that Hit can't really do the ability, but if they're going to take that ability away from him, that would be a pretty cool way to do it, as if Jiren has heard about him and did his research about him. But Jiren seems to be a pretty cool guy. He's meditating, so we'll see what he has in store.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to call it. It's been on here a while. Yeah, so I think I'm going to call it. Thanks for everyone who came out and watched this as long as y'all did. It means a lot. So anyway, guys, we're gonna catch on the next one if and when we decide to do this again. So if I could figure out,
tell me next time, and I can actually be home, so I don't have all this background noise.
You have you're never around anymore, Dan.
I know. It's because I'm always busy now.
Oh, me too, man. I woke up way too early today because people were making too much noise, so I was just like, screw it, I'll get up. And I didn't want to start studying again, so I decided to do this. But anyway, I'll tell you next time. This is really infrequent. I don't usually do these, but I just decided to have some fun. So, like I said, thanks for coming out, everybody. Please make sure to go check out Do Free if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have. And we're going to catch you on the next live stream. Bye.
Peace.